forget is when you missed 2 free throws, because I remember we were playing UNC in Trash, and I missed the and one dunk, and then for some reason I just missed both of my free throws. When I tell y'all, every time I see Nate in Wilmington, first thing he will bring up is why'd you miss those 2 free throws against Carolina?
Well, if you'd have finished and one, I'd have been like, oh man, like I'd have been bringing that.
That's hard. Like that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's catch-22. It's a catch-22. See,
that's true.
You made the dunk, you finished it. No miss free throws.
That's true. I'm not gonna lie though. I was horrible shooting free throws in UNCW just because the big jumbotron with the rotating screen, like the
excuses.
I'm serious. The glass would be so clear, and all I could see in the glass was the rotating screen, and that would just distract me every single time.
Hey, question. Did y'all ever think of like turning that on during practice so that it wasn't I never thought about that, but if it's like reflecting on you.
Yeah, it would have been smart, but it would have been smart, but we rarely had it on during practice.
I would have been taking a flashlight and like doing some kind of distraction, so y'all got over that. But
yeah, like I could do fine if the crowd was trying to do something, but I don't know what it was about that jumbotron, but it always distracted me.
That's funny.
I would say for my Flight 22 memory, I would probably say, I can't remember if it was in the spring session or the summer, but I know it was at Myrtle Beach, and we were playing on the middle court at Myrtle Beach against Big Shots Elite, and then everybody just started crowding around just because it was the game to see. We had me, Rob, Dwayne, Myron leading that team, and you had Luke, Bryce, Jared West, all leading that team. And I just remember those intense battles that we used to have. It was almost like a high school rivalry game every single time we played them. I was just like, I can't not stand playing these dudes. And I remember just kind of getting into it with those guys a little bit too. I remember kind of Nate getting into it with the rest.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, was it? I can't remember. Did Ricky Council play on that team at all as a freshman?
No, that was.
He played with John, right?
No, he played with Rob, but that was the year I played with the unsigned senior team, and we beat y'all. So,
Coach Clegg, shout out Coach Clegg. Okay.
So, Rob, I want to fast forward to your college career. If you could rank the top 3 players you played against, who would you say they were?
Oh, shoot. They probably have to go with performances against us. Like the best performance I've seen from someone just in front of my eyes was Kellen Grady this year. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable the amount of threes he hit in a row. It was like 7 in a row. It didn't matter. Like he just was catching it in transition and letting it go. So him and of course it'd probably be those guys somewhere on Kentucky or something. But performance, probably Kellen Grady, Philandris Fleming. He was at Charleston Southern and he hit a game winner against us. He had like 24 in the first half one time too. It was unbelievable. So those 2 performances stand out in my head. And honestly, another performance that really stands out in my head is one of my teammates, John Michael Wright, who actually played for Flight. We talked about him earlier. He ran off for about 30, I think, and majority of it was in second half. We were down by like 20 against Campbell a couple years ago. And literally it came to a point where Coach Smith was just like, just start setting pin downs for John and just scream, man, and the dude would just come off, catch, and he was unconscious. I mean, it was ridiculous. So probably those 3 performances stand out to me, but the best players will probably be Jericho Sims, he's in the league now. You got Oscar Seaway that will be in the league. Ty Washington will have a great career. Guys like that. So,
yeah. Hey man, yeah, that's like 7 threes in a row, dude. Like you got.
He rattled them off quick, and the game honestly, it wasn't like a bad game. We were within maybe 5 for a little bit. And then he's just started. I mean. He caught one because the Xavier Wheeler, that little kid, he just dribbles real quick down the court, super quick, and he just finds them. I mean, they're just calibrated perfectly. That's why some people have him to win a national championship. I mean, it's hard to stay in front of that kid. He gets in the paint, finds his shooters, and they're hard to guard.
Yeah, man. Dang, man. So speaking of national championship, we have March Madness going on right now. So for those of y'all listening right now, it's March 17th, first day of the March Madness tournament. I want to hear your picks of who you think will win the national championship.
Nicole, let's go. What you got?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
I can't.
I think
she
I would
might get in trouble if she says it.
I would like to stay married. So
I already know exactly what this answer is.
so. I think, and y'all chime in. I think the NCAA got a lot wrong this year. Am I the only one?
It was one of the worst years that I've seen and that I've actually watched. It was awful. It was terrible.
Terrible.
Hey, this has got to be some of these games have got to be like Tennessee had. Poor Longwood had no business playing Tennessee as a 3 seed. Tennessee was a 2 seed, easy, and they got an angry Tennessee team that pounded them by 30 today. Obviously, there's a big gap between those two teams, but I mean, Longwood had no chance from the get go. I mean, they could have put up a better fight against someone else.
Let me riddle you this. So you had Coastal Carolina those 2 years that they went with Elijah in the Big South. They were 16 seed. Both times they played Virginia and Wisconsin. So now Longwood in the Big South gets a 14 seed. You have Georgia State from the Sun Belt, supposed to be a better league.
Mm-hmm.
They get a 16 seed.
Yeah, that's easy to riddle you that though.
And
I can riddle you that right now.
And they get Gonzaga, the number 1 overall seed in the Sun Belt.
Yeah. Well, Georgia State had an awful start to their league play. They were 1-5 or 1-4 to start their league play. Didn't have a great start to the season. They finished third, I think, in the league and ended up winning the tournament. Longwood, in my 4 years being here in the Big South, they're the second best Big South team I've played, behind my junior or sophomore year Winthrop team. They're really good. But that Longwood team is really – I think they're deserving of a 14 seed. They're really good. They shoot the ball well. They get in the lanes. We played both of those teams. We played Georgia State too, and I would say that Longwood was a better team. But I agree with that, the Sun Belt is supposed to be a better league, which it is a better league in the Big South, and they get a 16 seed, and they have to play the number 1 overall, which is rough.
But like, I don't. So Nate, with you, like, I agree. I agree with everything Rob just said, but I have a question. So like, I've always just kind of looked at it as this, right? Jackson and I were talking about this today when we were watching some of the games, and just how you almost, I mean, obviously you have your clear cut teams that are higher and lower, but it seems like there's becoming this like closing gap where everybody's just kind of the talent you see, like obviously Longwood wasn't keeping up today, but when we were watching their game, at least at first, I mean, they were battling with Tennessee, like you're talking about teams and players.
You do realize right now, St. Peter's 53.
No, I'm not watching it.
52. St. Peter's beating Kentucky right now with 8 to go.
St. Peter's is a big right now, yeah.
But go back, Nicole.
Oh, sorry. So my whole question is like, I kind of like this though. Like, I mean, granted, you would think, one way and the other thing happened, but I kind of like how I agree with Rob in the sense that this whole year, just in basketball in general, was just not even the tournament pickings or anything. It was just weird. It was almost even weirder. I didn't play, but as a sister who went to every single one of her brother's games, I found it weirder than last year when I couldn't go to the games because it almost just everything seemed weird. So I kind of liked how they picked it because I feel like it truly, like, basketball this year truly showed who had an opportunity to get in there if they want to. If you want it, like, who's showing up, right? It doesn't matter, like, if you're this school or that school or whatever. If you're showing up, you're showing up. Like, that's kind of how I felt like it was. Obviously, it wasn't. You still have your big schools, you know who's going to win, you know who's not, like, things like that. But I just feel like maybe we're getting into this more of a mentality of it being more, you know, I don't want to say equal, but you can compete at all the levels now. So I don't know. Anyway,
well, the transfer portal will have a lot to do with that too in the future.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you can think. It's a transfer portal for all of that.
Yes. So what do y'all think about the transfer portal? You know, all the new rules going on with it.
Yeah, I hate it. I think it hurts. It hurts the kid. The clientele I deal with, which is high school kids and now post grad kids. That's who it's hurting. And so therefore I'm sitting here having to deal with that and be creative in how to make it work. I mean, it's the new life period now. The new life period started about a week ago and will go for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. That's the new life period. And I started saying that last year, and I'm gonna stick with it because I think it's facts that they're just going now picking up guys off the portal, and that's what they're doing. And then all of a sudden it's just like in the NFL or the NBA, more so the NFL, you can become really good really quick.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I think you may have seen that with Longwood. I think these guys, interesting. Virginia Tech, they're starting. Rob appreciates this. Their starting lineup, 4 out of their 5 guys in the starting lineup came from Wofford and High Point.
Yeah.
Or committed. Or committed. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what you initially had was a SoCon. You had the Southern Conference level players knock off and win the ACC championship and knock off Duke.
Playing together. That's coaching. Yeah. I think about the transfer portal. It's kind of complicated. You have a side that says, well, we're teaching the kids how to quit. And then, but what they don't realize, and I'm a coach's son, and I've seen both sides. I don't know if my dad did this, but, you know, I've heard about it and everything. There's a side of, you know, coaching where the scholarships are year to year. A coach can bring you in and say, you know, I don't see you playing here for the next how many ever years. And I think, you know, it's probably best if you go find somewhere else to play. And they're essentially running the kid off. Not all coaches do that. But there are some that do that. So you gotta, there had to be some type of way that I think, you know, the kid's not getting along with the coach. It's a bad relationship. You know, why punish him if he's trying to sit out or trying to transfer and sit out of here or whatever. But like, I see both sides of it. I think it does.
You know how it hurts the other side too.
Yeah, I see how it hurts the high school kids and everything. But hey,
sorry, go ahead.
Guess what? The high school kids don't play in the NCAA yet. So when they get to the NCAA, then I guess they get to be part of it. Then, you know, they get to play they get in, you know, Division I, Division II, or whatever the rules apply to. I guess they're all portals are filling up. I think Division I, II, and III now, a lot more than ever. So, you know, I think once they get in there, they have their turn. So yeah, it does hurt them, but you know,
so your whole
if you're supposed to be there.
So
I like it. I think I've seen kids miserable. I think they should be able to leave. You know, I mean, if you're not happy, then go. You know, coaches are allowed to leave. They're allowed to leave whenever they want. Yeah, they got a bad buyout, whatever. Half the time, the other schools pay the buyouts. They get to leave. So.
My question I was going to ask you, brother, is so with that, like, is there, I mean, in your opinion, I get what like, I 100% agree with you. Like, there's been you know, we've grown up in it. We've seen what we've seen, and it was totally like not the same back then. But with how it is now, what are the ramifications that like, did you see any of that? I already know the answer, but did you see any of that when you were in college? Like any her or any positive action from the transport portal, or no?
Transfer portal.
Like,
I mean, no, I didn't. Honestly, I don't think I saw a negative from it. Like John, like we had a teammate. I'll just call him by name. I mean, it happened. John Michael Wright put his name in the portal, and Coach Smith allowed him to come back. You know, essentially open. You know, he's committed to High Point University, and you got to swallow your ego. You got to swallow your pride, and that's what you got to do. If he wants to be a part of High Point program, but at the same time, wants to shop his other options. You know, you got to be realistic with where you're at. You're playing the Big South. You're at High Point, and the kid, you know.
let me ask you this.
A kid may want to shop and see if he can go high major for whatever reason. You know, whatever reason he has, you know, you got to swallow your pride and be like, you know, sure, you can shop and then come back.
Sure, but if Dad was okay. Dad's not coaching anymore. He's not coached for the last couple of years. How would you like? I know if Dad were still coaching right now at this moment, how would you feel about the transport portal? Ugh.
I mean, yeah, it would really, you know, it hurts for a kid to leave and it stings, but you have to adjust. That's what Falk is talking about, where it hurts the high school kids. This is when it hurts it. You lose a junior to the transfer portal. You lose a sophomore to the transfer portal. You don't want to replace him with a freshman, because if you do, the other team replace that junior with you know, transfer junior or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So they're getting older. You want your teams to stay older and experienced. So you lose a kid. It's Division I basketball. You can go find a million other kids that would be crying for the opportunity to play. So yeah, it's kind of what you have to do. And you got next man up, next player in the portal, next player in the high school, whatever you got to do, go get another one.
So like, I get what you were saying. Like you two both played, you know, in college and everything. And I know just from being his sister, how hard he worked his butt off. So I can imagine what you did. And so I get what Rob's saying in the sense of like, with these high school kids, it matters once they get there. Until then, if like earn your place to get there. And until you get there, you have no say. It doesn't matter how you feel or what you think.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, Rob.
Well, I was going to turn it on you. I kind of have the question for you.
Sure.
But it's, you know, a kid. I think your story is important. Being Belmont Abbey first, and then going to a mid-major, a really good mid-major in UNC Wilmington. What was that like?
I mean, yeah, like just going from Belmont Abbey to UNC Wilmington, I always believed that I had Division I talent, and I had a few Division I looks coming out of high school, and eventually I got them taken away because they ended up going for older players. They went for, you know, JUCO guys, or maybe some guys who were transferring at that moment, and I just wasn't ready at that moment. And I believe at the time, going Division II was honestly the best thing for me. I didn't want to at the time, but it was honestly the best thing for me, and it helped me develop my game. And I realized in Division II, there's really not much difference between Division II and Division I. I've played with kids in Division II.
Right,
yeah. And so just going from Division II to Division I is like, I knew I had it in me the whole time. I just needed the opportunity. And, you know, it wasn't bad playing Division II. You know, like I said, it helped develop me. It helped grow me. And it's kind of like John Michael Wright. Whenever the time came, my coach ended up taking another job. And I was just like, okay, do I want to sit here and possibly play for a new coach that I might not gel with? I don't know who it is. You know, it's still up in the air. Or do I want to shop my options?
So did you go to Belmont Abbey and always have in the back of your mind that you wanted to go Division I?
Honestly, my freshman year I did, but when I got to my sophomore year, I was kind of content where I was at. I was happy where I was at. I played for 2 straight conference championships at Belmont Abbey, and it never really dawned on me until the time that my coach ended up leaving that I was like, what if this is my shot to go Division I? I don't want to just allow that door to close while I have it right here in front of me. Yes, I love Belmont Abbey, but this is my opportunity. And so I can understand why these kids are, in the transfer portal so much, especially, John Michael Wright's situation. If he wants to go shop his opportunities for a higher major, I completely understand that.
I think so. A couple things I do want to say, like from a coaching standpoint, and I'm dealing with it in high school. It's trickled down to high school. Everything that happens, it started in the NBA. Let's be honest about it.
Yep.
Okay. It's trickled down to college. Here we are, and now it's trickled down because everything just rolls down. And so, as a coach, I'm about to say any level now, the worst thing you can have is a kid to score double digits. Because I've said this for a while. So now if a kid at a Division II school is scoring 15 a game, he's trying to go to the Big South. If a kid in the Big South scoring 16 a game, he's trying to go to the America East. If a kid in America East scoring double digits, he's trying to go Big 10, Big 12, ACC. Never stops, one up. And then the other thing, as a coach, that's really hard. It's really hard to coach that. It would almost be like very mindful to really spread the ball because you don't want a 25-point a game guy almost. Because you're going to lose him. You're never going to lose him. And then the other part of that, the coach addresses, the part I'm really struggling with nowadays is like, it's become very, and the one common thread here, if we go back, because I saw you guys' expressions when it was your time to talk about your point. It's all me. And that is what's bothering me in the society that we are right now. Like, if that's what it is and that's what it's become, and it's all about, I got to be happy. I'm not happy. I got to go. And the coach is saying that, and the kid is saying, we all on, but yet we go in the locker room and we teach a fist of all 5 fingers coming together as a team, all this crap. But yet when you walk out of that locker room, it's everything begins with I. I'm not happy. I want this. I want the next step. But yet we're going to preach team. First of all, it's very condescending and hypocritical. It is. And if that's where we're at, and that's okay, because I'm all about embracing where we are. But it seems to me that's where we are at all levels.
Well, I got a question for that.
Hold on. Let's just get that out now. And let me start telling my kids, hey, you go ahead and take the lowest level, whatever you got, and take it, and you leave next year. So if I start telling them that, now you're saying and talking about the elephant in the room, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. It's like we just.
It doesn't feel good.
Doesn't feel good to me.
It's right.
It's got a stench to it. I like the kids say, Coach, I ain't never leaving you, man. You coach that. I'm not never leaving this program. I'm not leaving this culture. I would never leave. That's the verbiage I wanted to hear and want to hear. You know what I mean? And you're not hearing it anymore. And it's like me thinking about some of the kids I've had, and maybe I had thoughts of leaving or whatever, but I'm like, I'm not leaving that kid. He graduates. I'm not leaving so-and-so. I've done that. But they roll out on me.
Are we just the old people that are trying to hold on to the?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 44. Like I've been that old school. Like I'm loyal. I stick to it. And then I also am young enough to see this shift, this change. And if this shift and change is happening, and it's about me, then let's just stop going to the locker room and trying to bring. Like I made a good point. Sorry, I made a good point this year where I made a statement. And I said, stop allowing your dinner conversations in your ride homes break up my locker room. Because we work so hard to bring people and bring it together, cohesive together, just to bash not just the coach, but everybody else on the team every chance you get away, and then bring them back in 24 hours later. It's like, it's a bit hard, but that's just me. Sorry, I got my little tangent.
The opposite side of that, Falcon, I love to debate. I love to argue. And I'm just here
Really?
to give you the
He
opposite
does.
side.
I would never guess
He
that.
does.
Yeah. The opposite side of that is there's a time and place. I get what you're saying when this is absolutely true. And I hate it too. You get in the car, parents saying you should play more, kids like, yeah, I should play more, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then, the parents calling the coaches. It happens in college too. It's crazy. They shouldn't, that all is BS, right? But the coming together, your fist, my fist, team, together, family, whatever, break. These things are season by season. Every time you go to record, it's going to say 21 to 22, 20 to 21, whatever it may be. And you can be a family for that season and say break. And then afterwards, the best for me is to leave. It becomes like a professional free agency. So it's a time and place thing for me is, we were family, break, blah, blah. There's
You
time and
stop
place.
being my brother just because you don't feel like it?
No. We're blood. So to continue this is when we, break it down and we leave and we had a great season or a terrible season, whatever. At that point in time, I think it's okay for a kid to go ahead and think about himself and whether it's better for him, whether he's averaging, 20 points or he's averaging 2 points or he's averaging none, never got off the bench. I think it's good for him to think about himself at that point and whether he should go or not.
Okay. Well, that's fine. So you're okay, I'm the old guy in the room. End of the year, that's when you can think about yourself. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You're thinking about yourself.
You're saying they're thinking about themselves the whole time.
Absolutely.
The whole time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you could, I could work with that. If I could get to the point where I'm not going to think about me until the season end, or I'm not going to think about that until maybe I can get on board with that. It's not what's happening. Human nature is not.
I don't know about the high school level, but I truly do believe some of my college teammates throughout the years have been able to say, right now, I want us to win. And then I'll let you know after the season whether I'm going to stay. And I think, for me, it was a bit of an adjustment. I'm not going to lie. Because, I think sometimes kids weren't bought in. I'd be like, holy crap, why is the coach playing him? Or why is the coach allowing him to have this much say or whatever it may be? But it's almost like something you just kind of avoid until the end of the season, So they're both like, okay, let's focus on being a team right now. And then after the season, we'll talk about whether you want to be here or not.
Like you ignore the elephant in the room if there is one. Like
Yeah,
if there's tension
essentially.
or something,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
We might as well have mid-year transfers.
Yeah.
Mid-year
No,
transfers.
they do.
it's
They
like
do.
trade.
There are mid-year transfers.
No. Schools keep a scholarship open. Now some coaches keep a scholarship open to catch that midseason transfer.
Yeah.
My Hargrave teammate, I'm really close with him, Trey King. He was at Georgetown, mid-year transfer to Iowa State right now. He's at Iowa State. Is there a way to coach to make them realize that if they aren't bought in for that season, I feel like sometimes we had kids in my 4 years here that just honestly were like wasting their time, and I never felt like the coaching staff was able to be like, look, you're wasting your own time if you don't buy in with your attitude and stuff. You can leave after this year. You can get on, go do your thing. But I'm telling you right now, if your attitude is this way and you want to do this, you want to do that, it is so much easier on your life to just buy into what we're saying for this year and go on. Like, is that a conversation or a way a coach can handle things or no? With an individual player?
I think as a coach, and you're gonna soon see this, you're responsible for everything. Everything.
Yeah.
So if you got too many kids transferring and leaving out of your program, why is that, coach? Why you got so many people leaving?
Fault.
What are you doing? What's your culture like? Got to watch for that. You better be developing your players. You better be marketing and promoting your players. You better be dealing with agents. You better be trying to find them somewhere after college because they're going to bash you for that if you don't. You're responsible for so much. It's not just a win or loss on the scoreboard, which is hard enough in itself. That's hard enough. You're responsible for everything else. Their grades, getting recruited. Why ain't they recruited high enough? I carried you there to get recruited. My kid didn't get better. Your skill work wasn't good enough. Coach, why is everybody rolling out of your program? Must be you. It's like, wow, jeez. So it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I think that's why you see a big wave of the older coaches in college and high school. I had two coaches here today step down in the county. College coaches are retiring left and right. I took a 3-year absence, came back. I mean, thank God for that 3-year break and coming back. But it's hard.